Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. It's Sunday afternoon, November 17th, and this will be the Week 6 announcement for Political Science 1013, American Government and Politics, for the fall 2024 term, the second 8 weeks. Okay, everybody, a few things. I won't be talking to you again for 2 weeks, because after this week, we are off for Thanksgiving for a week. So, our next announcement will come on or about Sunday, December 1st. I think that's correct. Now, our third exam is coming up this Thursday, the 21st. Okay, same format as the others, 50 questions. 2 units will be covered with some additional reading to be accessed online. Same format as before. Now, the following day will be our last class day before the Thanksgiving break. And so then I will get the announcements out for you for the final exam and for our last discussion that we'll have when we come back from Thanksgiving. That will be the last week of the regular term. Okay, with final exams and your term paper due date coming up the following week. So the exam will be this Thursday, the 21st. And the following day, the 22nd, watch your inbox. You'll get several announcements, including an assignment for the final exam and for one discussion the last regular week of class before after we come back from Thanksgiving for discussion number 5. Everyone, keep in mind also the due date for term papers is Thursday, December 12th. The final exam is scheduled for Saturday, December 14th, with grades to be turned in Monday, December 16th. Now, my general policy is that I ask everyone to inform me of their term paper topic if you want to do a term paper. And again, it's optional, it's not mandatory. But generally, I ask for the topic, for you to communicate the topic to me 2 weeks before the due date. Now, it so happens 2 weeks before the due date is Thanksgiving Day. So we're going to push it back to our first day back in class after Thanksgiving, which will be Monday the 2nd. I need to know your topic by Monday the 2nd, with the due date for the paper Thursday, December 14th. Okay? All right, well, more immediate concern will be the exam. You have Units 5 and 6 on the presidency and the federal bureaucracy, and I want to say a few words about Unit 6. In addition, you have 4 things to look at online, and expect 10 or 15 questions on those. You have 2 articles on the election, one by a writer who's happy with the result, and another by someone who's not. In addition to that, you have an article about the newly named White House Chief of Staff, who will be Mr. Trump's Chief of Staff. Susie Wiles, I believe is her name, to be the first woman to have held that position, White House Chief of Staff. So take a look at that. And then we have, for the last thing we'll be looking at, from the Wall Street Journal, so this will be something you can access through the OPSU McKee Library, an article going back about a year about Mr. Trump's plans for the federal bureaucracy. Now that brings us to the material we were looking at for Unit 6. Unit 6 is a short unit, not all that much in the way of class notes to look at, on the federal bureaucracy. About 20 or 25 slides there, and accompanying notes, if my memory serves me correctly. This really is most of the federal government in terms of employees. It mostly comes under the executive branch on the organizational chart, but is sometimes spoken of as the 4th branch of government. We try to do 2 things here, basically. We want to look at the various units within the federal bureaucracy, and that includes the cabinet level departments, of which there are 15, and many, many other entities that are not part of any cabinet level department. Those include independent agencies, government corporations, and regulatory commissions, which are a little different in the way they work from other units of the federal bureaucracy. Then what we want to talk about is difficulties that presidents encounter in exerting control over the federal bureaucracy. And this brings us to our article from the Wall Street Journal we're going to have you read, along with a lot of fairly feverish reporting that's appeared in the press, really before the election and especially after, now that Mr. Trump has won. Now, look, what's been reported, students may be aware that most government employees are under civil service protection. And one of the main points of that is to keep them from being fired simply for political reasons. Okay? But that in and of itself makes it difficult for elected executives such as the president to control them. Okay? Now, it's been reported that what Mr. Trump wants to do is issue an executive order. He actually issued an order to this effect before he left office in his first term, but President Biden, upon taking office, rescinded that executive order. This is called Schedule F. It would reclassify 50 or perhaps 100,000 civil servants so that they would not have civil service protection and so that the president could fire them. In other words, these would be people now who would work more or less directly for the president and be answerable to him or her. Now, there are always a couple of thousand positions like that, but this would greatly expand the number of civil servants who are subject to being fired. Now, people with different views look upon that differently. As I've mentioned to you, I think some people look at Mr. Trump as some kind of an aspiring authoritarian, and this would be one way of achieving that kind of authoritarian rule, by firing lots of civil servants at will. But then on the other hand, people will say, well, these are people who are supposed to be answerable to elected officials and elected representatives. Okay. One problem, as you read through the class notes, is that there are so many, okay, a couple of million federal employees, if we just look at civilian federal employees and not those in the military. Okay. It's very hard for elected officials, elected representatives, political appointees to supervise that many people. And so it becomes possible for them to get away with a lot. And Mr. Trump and his friends, his supporters, think that many of these people stand in the way of cutting back on government and bringing it under control the way they want to. So this executive order that Mr. Trump may issue is part and parcel of that, aimed at bringing the bureaucracy back under control, shall we say. And you'll be reading about that in the Wall Street Journal article that I've assigned you going back to October of last year, I believe, that you're assigned for the exam. Okay. That discusses Mr. Trump's plans for what he might like to do about the federal bureaucracy. It's discussed in the second half of the class notes for Unit 6, and in that article we're asking you to read. Once again, you're responsible for Unit 5 on the presidency and Unit 6 on the bureaucracy for the exam, plus 4 articles to be looked at online. Okay. 2 about the election. One writer is happy about the election and the other is not. 1 about the woman who will be Mr. Trump's White House Chief of Staff, and 1 about Mr. Trump's plans for the bureaucracy, which you'll be looking at from the Wall Street Journal. So you can access that, you should be able to, through the OPSU Library's subscription to the Wall Street Journal. All right, so we will be doing that on Thursday the 21st. Then we'll be taking a week's break. In the meantime, you'll be getting some emails about things you can take a look at if you want to over break or over the weekend just before we come back from break. Because that week of December 2nd, we will take one more discussion for discussion number 5. Then the week after that, your term papers, if you choose to do one, are due on Thursday, December 12th. The final exam is Saturday, December 14th. Grades are due Monday, December 16th. If you would like to do a term paper, please communicate with me about your topic by the day we come back from Thanksgiving break, Monday, December 2nd. Otherwise, your exam is this Thursday, the 21st. Contact me with any issues, problems, or questions, david.cole@opsu.edu or through the course website. Take it easy, study hard. Good luck on your second exam, or your third exam, excuse me. Good luck on your third exam.